'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Wrestling RHAPup podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you doing?
Great. Having a good time lip syncing to your intro of me, so it's great. And I was gonna say I'm ready to get extreme, but we just got extreme, so it's kind of like de-streamicizing. You know what I mean?
De-streamicizing. I love that. I love that. So we're calming down from the hype that was last night. I'm cool with that. I like that.
Yes.
We are streaming live to Facebook and Twitter today for our Extreme Rules reaction podcast. We will be taking questions from the listeners throughout the podcast. So excited to be doing this again. This is the second time we've done this year. I'm really liking this this flow. You can always let us know how you feel, if you think we should do more of these, by sending any emails to wrestling@RHAPhasawebsite.com. Yes. Or you can,
Right.
follow us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup on Twitter, and use hashtag Wrestling RHAPup. Matt, what was your favorite match last night?
Wow, Mari, we're just getting right into it, aren't we? You're asking the big questions here.
I mean,
you're asking the big questions.
The overall question.
But I'll tell you what my favorite matches of the night. But honestly, I want to know from the people. Anyone who's watching live, comment, let us know what are your favorite matches, how are you feeling, questions, comments, concerns, we take it all. Mari, I have a clear favorite, and I was not coming in thinking about this, and it was the Edge versus Finn Balor I Quit match.
Oh, okay.
Wow, she said, oh, screw your opinion. And
no,
that was my favorite, and I was not coming in with that. I think that maybe we were coming in with the Bayley Bianca ladder match being the favorite, but I was pleasantly surprised by Edge and Finn Balor.
Yes. I came in with my favorite as being Bianca and Bayley, and they left as my favorite, but I don't think that means that all the other matches were really good too. Like, there were a lot of big surprises in all the other matches. I will say there was one match that lived up to the expectations that I had, and they were low.
Wow.
So they didn't go they did not exceed.
Well, we'll get into all of it. And I think the thing that is interesting, we're gonna break it down, but I respect your opinion. We'll talk about the Edge Finn Balor match, but I will say this, like, just to tease it before we get into it. Here's my thing with Edge matches, like, Mari, maybe I'm exposing myself a little bit here, but I have talked about being an Edge head, Edger, edgelord, whatever you call it for him. And
pushing it.
But I will say I'm not into Edge like that. Like, he moves, his peak might have been 10, 15 years ago. There's something amazing about him now from a character standpoint, but 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, physically, he was just at a different level. And so the start of the match did not do it for me at all. And then we got to the point where things started thinging, and we'll talk about the things thinging. So that really did it for me. But
I will say that was a great ending to that match. I definitely agree.
Oh, yeah.
Overall feelings about Extreme Rules, Matt?
It was extreme. I don't know why Ronda Rousey was front and center on the poster, but overall, I loved it because it
Mhm.
was more extreme than we've gotten in the
Yes.
last several years. I mean, the
Yeah.
most extreme things about last year's Extreme Rules were the one Extreme Rules match that happened.
Literally just the one.
The one,
Yep.
and then also I remember last year, Alexa Bliss, she lost to Charlotte and then was crying and had a fit, and that was kind of extreme.
Right.
But other than that,
Ooh, forgot
like
about
it
that.
wasn't, there was nothing. There hasn't been
It
much
was
to Extreme
nothing,
Rules in the
yeah.
last several years, maybe arguably since Extreme Rules started. So this was very extreme, and I liked it. How did you feel overall, Mari? Just about everything all together.
Oh, I definitely thought it was a really, really good, pay-per-view, premium live event. Like, I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it was fun. I think I liked every match except for one, you know.
I'm curious to well, we'll get into it because I like to be surprised.
Yeah, so I thought it was a really good time. I liked that they still had, like, backstage segments in between too, and then, of course, the ending. So I thought it was a very, very solid premium live event from top to bottom, eh, lag in the middle, but, like,
Ooh,
I I liked it. I really did, and I'm glad again, it just shows you it truly does feel like a new regime has taken over, and,
mhm.
Triple H and the gang are doing really, really good. Yep.
Yep, yep, yep. You said it.
Yeah. All right. Should we get into it? Do we wanna sink our teeth into this?
Yeah. Nice dog. What's that match? The match stipulation? Like a dog
The
cage match or whatever?
kennel,
Kennel match?
the it was like a hell it kennel, I don't know.
I'm glad they haven't brought that back. That's just
It
actually
it was
abusive.
so bad.
One, the dogs aren't great, but also the people getting bitten isn't great. Mari, I did want to ask before we
Mhm.
dive in, and this was something I meant to ask you in the predictions episode.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is extreme extreme rules. And I
Okay.
have to ask you, put yourself in the mind frame. You are a WWE superstar. You are there shining. Mari talks too much is your gimmick name. And you have an
Yeah.
extreme rules match. And you have the weapons all at your disposal. Like, what are your weapons of choice? Or is there a stipulation of
Ooh.
choice that you have?
I think I would be a kendo stick girly. As somebody who did, softball for, like, most of my life, I feel like
Uh-huh.
that would be the that would be the correct answer. Like, I don't think I'd have to learn how to swing anything else.
Yeah.
Um, Trash cans are kind of fun. You
Uh-huh.
you always can put your competitor in them and then just do stuff like hitting
Yeah.
them with a trash
Slap the trash can a little
can.
bit.
Um,
Mess with
and
them.
that's about it. Like, a lot of people will probably pick tables, but tables are just so wonky, and then you have to, like, fight around them, and then if it doesn't go to plan, it's really, really No,
Yes,
Alex
Alex
is
Trius in the chat says you wouldn't want a bedazzled plastic bat. That wouldn't be your thing, Mari.
No, that would not be my
Too
thing
much effort, honestly,
for
to
several
bedazzle a
reasons.
bat. Yeah, and then you
Mhm.
get glitter everywhere, and that becomes uncomfortable. Like if you get the glitter in your eye in Extreme Rules match, you're done. You're
You're
done.
done.
So
Yeah.
I have to
How
say,
about you?
mine.
What would you
Thank you for
use?
asking. Mine would be okay. So I like the dumpster and putting someone in the dumpster just 'cause I'm like, you're trash. Go. But that's not my choice. The secondary one, and I don't know if this counts, but I like the merch stand, like dragging someone through all of the t-shirts and stuff and just
Mhm.
beating them down with the fake championship belts. But mine. I feel like my personality is more like the fire extinguisher. Like
Oh
really
god.
just like someone right in the face, and then it's
Yeah.
like they can't see, and then I could kind of just run around like a cat and mouse type of thing. That's
That
that's what I
can't
would go for.
that can't be like a real fire extinguisher. Like, I think you're giving people, like, chemical burns if you use, like, a real fire extinguisher, right?
So maybe that's not a good idea to use a fire extinguisher
I
on
mean,
someone.
I'm
Good
just
to know.
saying, like,
But if it
I
ever comes down
real.
to it, I actually don't own a fire extinguisher, but I feel like I need to get
Oh,
on
yeah, please.
someone's, maybe on Jeff Bezos's internet, and order a fire extinguisher just for this exact needs. So we'll think
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think you do.
Yeah, and you
It's
know
a
what?
very
Let us
important fire
let
safety.
us let us know if you're tuning in live. Comment. Let us know what your weapon of choice would be. I'm seeing Lego pieces from one person here, but also, just like
Ow.
tweet us even. Mari gave all the
Oh
plugs
yeah.
at Wrestling RHAPup, all that stuff, and let us know what weapons you would use. But don't incriminate yourself because this might be used in a court of law. And thank you for telling on yourself.
Thank you for telling all yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to the first match, the opener.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise. So it was the old-fashioned Donnybrook match, the Brawling Brutes versus
Mm-hmm.
Imperium. I did watch Sheamus versus Gunther on SmackDown, and I was just like, this is such a good match that they're having a day before a premium live event. Like, how are you going to top this? Like,
Exactly.
honestly, I was like, y'all are giving it away. You're giving it away. Sheamus was already bruised and bloody from the day before. Then they come in, baby. This match,
Yeah. It
it
was
was so
hard hitting.
good.
It
It
was
was
so
so
good.
good.
And it was longer than I think we said. I believe we might have said in the predictions episode, like 10 minutes, hard hitting, in and out, give us the action. And I don't know exactly how long this was, but it felt
Yeah.
long in the sense that,
Yeah.
but everyone was getting moments. So it was longer than I expected. But I liked that it wasn't just Sheamus and Gunther, but it
Uh-huh.
was like all the people getting their moments. And Ridge Holland was there too, but the rest of them really did an incredible job, and we love that. Mari, like I don't know. I don't even know where to start diving into this match.
So for this match, like immediately, I had to go back and rewatch it because I missed some of it because they literally just went into the match.
They
Like
did.
basically, they did have a kind of interesting opener where they had
Mhm.
a kid spell extreme. That was like kind of weird. While like Paul Heyman berated them, whatever, it's cool. Whatever floats your boat.
Just think.
But this match just started furiously. I love that we were talking about on the preview podcast, like with Havon, like hopefully they
Mhm.
use like tornado rules where it's like you don't got to tag in and tag out.
Yeah.
And they sure did. No tagging, no tagging in. It was just a bar brawl. It was they just hit the ring and started hitting each other, and it was
Yeah.
so good.
Yes, yeah, and we love that. And you know what? Like tagging is not extreme. Like tagging is not extreme.
Yeah,
And by the way, this match was 17 minutes 50 seconds bell to bell. So just
17
putting that
minutes. You
out
said,
there as 17 minutes and 50 seconds. So this was
"Yep,
like almost twice as
I felt
long
it."
as I think we
Mhm.
even just generally thought. But I loved it. And I also appreciated that we didn't I don't think I would have put that one-on-one match on SmackDown before this,
Mhm.
but I'm glad that the championship belt from Gunther didn't change, and I'm glad
Right.
that Sheamus didn't walk into it because this is a great setup for. It has to be a crown jewel match, Mari. Like
Mhm.
when you think of
Yeah.
the Saudi shows, like
Mhm.
this is what they love. They just love the big meaty men slapping meats, and that's what Sheamus and Gunther are.
Yeah. We find ourselves in a predicament because
Oh,
Sheamus like should and needs to win that intercontinental title. Like he needs to complete his grand slam, and he's doing such great work right now. You want to reward that. But
hmm.
Gunther has the IC title, and I don't want him
Ooh,
to lose it. Why is this happening right now? Like I'm just so like it's so good, and it's so good storytelling, and I truly will watch them, I think, fight as many times as necessary. um and I think you're right. I think maybe we if any storyline would I would be okay with Sheamus winning the belt, carrying it for a few months, and then Gunther winning it right back. Because to me it makes sense. It makes sense from like Sheamus getting his flowers, but also just
mhm.
how brutal these two people are. And it's like it feels like an any given Sunday type of style match. Like anybody can win and
Yeah.
any time. So man,
I
oh,
just
so
love
good.
Imperium though. I really love
Oh my
Imperium,
god,
and I
so
think for
much.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, like for me, the thing with the brawling I
Brute.
can't even say it. Brawling
Brawling brute.
brutes, the brawling brutes is that like Sheamus, amazing, Butch, very interesting. I think that I like as
He
a
shined
competitor
in
in the
this match,
ring, he
I
did
think.
shine in this
Mm.
match. And I just I think I have feelings still about
Still,
Ridge
yeah.
Holland, and
He's still a little
obviously
green. It's
he's still
okay.
a little green, but I love the package of Imperium altogether. And like even Giovanni Vinci, I'm like, who's this
Who
person? Let me wrap my head
again?
around.
Yep,
But
exactly.
I feel like this match was the showcase that gave all of them a chance beyond the two main
Yeah.
characters in this feud to really bake out a little bit more. And so this was great. And they had a ton of false finishes. They had a ton of
Mhm.
hard hitting spots. And
Mhm.
I was not expecting that I would be into this at all. But there we
Right.
go.
Like, yeah, like it was so many really good spots too. Like the brutal triple team that Butch took from Imperium, like
Hmm.
geez Louise.
Yeah.
We had at least like 3 Sheamus Gunther standoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We got 10 beats from Sheamus that turned into another triple team to Gunther. The crowd was like hot. Like the
Yes.
crowd was on fire, and rightfully so. This was the perfect match to open up in like a Philadelphia. And of course, we got, Butch off the barrels, and I love a good it's Celtic Cross when Sheamus does it, but
Yeah.
I like the Razor's Edge because Razor Ramon used to do it, and
Exactly.
I've said this before. I loved it when Roman used to do it, and I liked when Damian Priest used to do it. Something about big men putting other big men on their shoulders, yes, and just
Yeah.
throwing them around is my jam. So this is what takes Gunther out, Celtic Cross to the announce table so that the Brawling Brutes could pin Vinci for the win. And man, that
Yeah.
was such a good match.
And by the way, let me just say that like they had so many random objects, like even looking back at pictures of it, but like if you watch it back again, you'll see there's just all sorts the barrels, there's like a sleigh type of mechanism in
It's like
there.
a bar thing, I
A
think. I
bar?
think it's supposed
Oh,
to be like a bar. I think that's what
that's
they
definitely
did.
what
Like
that was
they
supposed to
yeah.
be, Mari. And
Yes.
like Alex in the chat even commented this, but I love that the brutality and what we're getting from from all of them, but especially from Gunther and Sheamus, is just so much different than the rest of the card. Thank you, Alex, for pointing that out
Mhm.
because it's true. And we love it. And I love the ending spot where it's like Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne held Giovanni
Vinci.
Vinci, and
Mhm.
then you just got the big the kick thing, the
Yeah,
kick,
bro
bro kick,
kick.
the bro
Yeah.
kick to the face. Yes. So that
Mhm.
was a nice finish to all of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was a great match. What grade would you give it?
Oh my god. I would give it, again, expectations versus reality. I would actually give this one an A minus. Why not? It
Yeah.
was really solid, and it was like longer than we thought, but also no complaints about that at all. I think it served the match well, and the competitors beyond the two, heads of their factions, of their respective factions, were featured. So this was good. This was really good.
I
What
s-
grade would you give it?
yeah, I'd second that. I think I'd give it an A minus as well. I think it was perfectly great for exactly what it was. So, it was good. It was really good. I
I
like
mean,
watched it
that's all
at
we could
least.
ask for, though. Perfectly great for exactly what
I'm
it was.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like for like a six man, like sometimes six mans can be like really boring, especially
Mhm.
when you've seen them. We've seen these people fighting for like months and months now. So
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that this was something different and it went above and beyond what we thought we were gonna get.
Yeah.
We did get some like backstage segments, which I love when they do that on premium live events. Like I like when they break it up a little bit with the
Mhm.
backstage segments instead of just going like match, match, match. And the backstage segment that we first get after the Brawling Brutes and Imperium are is Miz and Gritty. So we get this like arc throughout the night of Miz disrespecting Gritty by like throwing his t-shirt on the ground.
Yeah.
Then Gritty mocks Miz for being on the phone. And then so we're all assuming, right? Because Miz is talking about how like he should not be named Loomis, like he's not afraid of Loomis, whatever, whatever. And you're like, okay, is Loomis gonna be Gritty? Like that's what you always like. That's what I was thinking. I was like, is Loomis gonna be Gritty at some point? um Miz Miz finally has enough near the end of the night, attacks Gritty. When he stands up, Loomis is right there behind him, choking him
Mhm.
out. Lumis helps Gritty get up. Gritty kicks Miz on his way out, and they just go. It was cute for what it was, and it's a way of getting the Miz, on the show, and it's great.
Sure.
They're breaking things up if they're setting up for different matches in order to like move stuff out. I think it was okay.
Yeah, and it was a way of getting Gritty on the show too. I don't like Gritty. I don't like Gritty. And also, like, and Mari, I'm sure that you saw this too, but lots of baseball references.
Yeah.
And I've never been a big fan of the references to other sports in WWE. Like, there are ways to do it where it's like, here's the thing, like if someone's like, oh my god, this is an all-sport athlete, like even with Ronda Rousey, who we'll talk about, like you're really putting over what she's doing outside of wrestling, but wrestling is its own animal, and you kind of, I just think it makes wrestling look funny when you're like, we're wrestling, but what about baseball, right? Everybody baseball. I'm like, girl, we're wrestling fans for a reason.
So James is a big Phillies sports team fan, and apparently, the Phillies were in a playoff game at the time. So that's what they were referencing. Thanks to Alex in the chat.
Oh well, good to know.
Which
sports.
if it was a home game, it was probably lit out there that night, because
wow,
like the way Philly is situated, I don't have to tell you. All the arenas are like really close together, so that was probably a fun time out there.
Well, I mean,
so,
and overall, like just back to the Miz segment for a second, it was nice to have him there and those interludes. Gritty, to me, I'm like, why are you here? Because it felt like a special, like back in the day when Raw used to do the special guest hosts. You kind of felt like there were like these inconsequential moments that would come up. It's fine. It's great. I hope the fans in attendance loved it and appreciated that hometown action. But Lumis choking the Miz out. I don't know, where is this going? I'm not feeling energy behind the Miz and Lumis feud, because it's like Miz was already kidnapped. Like, once you've been kidnapped and traumatized once, is there really more?
yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. Like, we haven't really covered it on the show a lot, only because it's been a lot of like weird backstage segments, and it hasn't been like matches. And Lumis did like pop out from under the ring. It's the same kind of presentation they did with him when he first debuted on NXT. So I think we're gonna get at least a match or two, and then somehow we're gonna move on from this. Lumis, or is he Dexter Lumis? And then
this is what we get for having a live chat during our show. And
Yeah.
I do like that. Like Dexter Lumis reveals that he's actually the father of the Miz. Dexter Lumis and Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, that was good, Alex.
We'll take it. I hope someone appreciates that. Or it could just be a dad joke that people don't appreciate. But you know what? I like the idea of it. And you know what? We might see it pan out. So thank you so much.
So I don't know. It is feeling like a little lackluster, even though I'm liking him outside Mrs. house.
Ooh.
All of that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? We will see, but I need this to turn into like a 90s rom-com, which is now insanely creepy, with like Lumis outside of Mrs. house playing a guitar in the rain. That's what I want, but we'll see where it goes, and we'll see if we keep covering it week to week, and hopefully it's interesting enough for that.
Yeah, because I'm really trying to think, because we have Survivor Series coming up from the Rumble. Like, I don't know. I don't think this is like a headlining feud. It's just a feud to get somebody over. So I could see maybe just like one match blow off somewhere, maybe Crown Jewel or something.
You know what? Yeah, if you're not doing anything else with the Miz, it's a good way to use him. And I mean, you could definitely get Lumis over more, but it works. He's exposed to people, so we like that for him.
Maybe
I don't think he's on a match. No, go for it.
No, I was gonna say maybe a segue into Miz and Maurice versus Lumis and Indy. That might be cool. I might like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. We
Yeah.
spent entirely too much on
We are.
time on
We did.
that.
It's all of 5 minutes on the show. It's cool. We did it.
I know.
We did what we want.
Let's get into Ronda versus Liv, which was my absolute stinker of the night.
Oh, I can say your absolute favorite match.
Oh my God. This is gonna pain me to say because I truly try and support all women's wrestling, but dog, like,
Okay, Mari, here's the
ew,
thing.
ugh,
Going into this, we just to kind of recap where our heads were a little bit. I feel like I put my prediction with Liv, and then you and Havan had your prediction with Ronda, I believe.
yeah, I think
And
so.
my thinking was like, you're probably right, but this says a lot about where WWE wants to head, and like if they keep it on Liv, obviously it says a lot different than Ronda. So we see Ronda the Rousey win here.
Yeah.
But I just want to turn back to you for that unbridled fire that you have about this, because I'm feeling like this is like a therapy session. Just lay down on the couch like you're Alexa Bliss, and I'll be here. I'm here. Talk it through.
I just like it's not good. None of it is good. Like putting the title on Ronda. Okay, sure. Why not? Because you guys are so focused on using her name, her likeness to like try and, I guess, like get exposed to more people. I don't know. But it's not good. Like at least with her first run when she was like being shoved down our throats, she was having like decent matches. And the second run is just like horrendous because she's not having decent matches. She's not having decent matches at all. So it's even more like sticking in my craw. You know what I'm saying? Like Ronda needs to be carried. Ronda needs to be carried.
Okay.
Liv does not wrestle like somebody who carries somebody. And that's not a ding on Liv. Liv sells. Liv is a seller. She makes the match feel more genuine, which is what happened in this match because I don't think Ronda took any like really big weapons to anything. Liv had to set up everything and take everything. And it was just so bad. It was bad. It was uneven. The making a bat the like highlight weapon of the match is stupid because you can't just tee off on somebody with a bat. Like,
girl, thank you.
You can't do that. So light taps with a bat that are not going to make me like this match, and that's exactly what we were getting. I did see. I think that first bat shot was good. The one where Liv was coming off the steps, and Ronda like teed off on her. I don't know if it was the cuts or the angles, but that one looked really good. And, you know, Ronda like pretending to be looking at a home run. That was good. Every bat swing after that was horrendous. It was either Ronda like tapping her on the butt, which I mean, honestly, we all saw it. Like that was so weird. Or Ronda spanking her.
Yeah.
Did I?
No,
I the only one
mean,
who was traumatized? Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, that's what Ronda's into, and that's what Ronda's into. So we'll go with it. And I did think that was interesting. She was just kind of like smacking Liv on the ass with a bat, which, I mean, do what you have to do, Ronda. But it was strange and it was ineffective. Look, here's what I'll also say. Is that if we're going to get a bat in here, like to your point, Mari, we need some brutality. We need people bleeding. We need the blood. Like, this is not realistic. I do not want kids out here. Hold on. PSA. I do not want kids out here on the streets hitting each other with bats thinking that it's going to be like, ow, that tickles. Like, what? What are you doing?
It was like, I can't believe I ran the full spectrum in like 5 minutes. Like when she was just lightly hitting her on the butt, I was like, what is this? Like, we're not even like using the bat.
I mean,
like,
Mari, to be fair, that's for a lot of people. Like,
right. but
I'm just saying.
it looked ridiculous.
Thank you, Chappelle. That
Yeah.
looked good. Someone or somebody said to run the clip back. I'm just
Hopefully you're watching us on YouTube by going to Rob Has a Podcast on YouTube, searching Wrestling RHAPup, so you can see all the questions on the on the screen, because some of them I will not repeat. But yeah, so it went from that to then Ronda actually hitting her on the with the bat with this weird spot where she kind of like tied Liv up first in a weird way,
whoa.
and then started like literally hitting her with the bat to the point where it's like I was getting like triggered. I was like flashbacks of me being like spanked as a kid. Like,
Oh my god, with a bat?
no, not with the bat, but like, as you know, Black people spankings.
Yeah, well,
like trying to run away from the like the belt. Oh my
Mari,
god,
you have to be really good at running. Like that was my secret. It happened.
exactly.
I was like, yeah, I had wheels. That was
It's
right.
okay.
That's what it's all about.
I'm in therapy for it. We've gone
Oh,
past
good.
it. My mom has apologized, but it was just really, really hard to see. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
she's getting spanked like she lied to her daddy.
Oh my
She
god.
was getting spanked like she went outside and didn't come back before the street lights came on. It was insane. I was
I
like,
know.
I don't like this.
I
I don't
know.
like this at all.
I just
don't
need
like
like I just need like a belt or a hanger. Like if you're gonna spank somebody, do it that way. Because that would be a good
Yes.
like imagine an I Quit match where it's just like the not the belt.
No,
oh my god, the
God, no.
spanking.
I
No.
didn't like that. Okay, so that's my first qualms about the bat, right?
Okay.
Then there
go
were
on.
so many timing issues, like there was no fluidity within the match. They do not have good chemistry, unfortunately. Like, it's so unfortunate for Liv.
Yeah,
That
but
her whole reign has been just fighting Ronda.
this is so sad, Mari. Like even just talking about it is sad because Liv. I think that this was a good reign for Liv. Like it could have been better. She'll have better ones in the future, I'm sure. But like she did the best she could with Ronda, and as we've talked about, as many people know, Ronda. It's almost like her WWE doesn't understand the value of Ronda Rousey, the real value of Ronda Rousey, which is that she's not that valuable at all. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know why she's here. I don't know why they keep putting the championship back on her, and I don't know why they keep calling her the baddest woman on the planet. Because that's honestly like the biggest thing, the best thing about Ronda Rousey is everything that she did before WWE, and they keep leaning on that. It's like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Why do we keep going back to things that she did half a decade ago when she's been here for the last 4 years on and off and not delivering, increasingly just decreasingly performing.
And that's my biggest problem. It's like bad booking can be come or overshadowed by good wrestling. You know what I'm saying? But when you have bad booking and bad wrestling, it's just not fun. It's just not, we don't want to see this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
getting back to the match, like poor Liv, like I said, she had to set up all of the stuff. There was a really bad botched chair shot. Oh god,
that was a mess. That whole
such a mess.
I just want to talk about that for a second because she puts the chair in the corner, which, by the way, I'll say later in the night, Edge and Finn Balor did a spot in the corner that actually worked, where Edge put the chair, it stayed, except the chair slips out. And so Liv's like, well, I'm supposed to throw Ronda into the chair in the corner. It's not there. So she throws Ronda into the corner. The announce team's pointing out how the chair fell. And it just is a mess. And it makes Liv look bad at the end of the day. It doesn't even make Ronda look bad.
But then again, Ronda didn't even, so they had to do the spot twice, because when the chair fell, Liv was like, well, we're just going to continue with the spot, because no matter what, the chair being there or not, it's still a pretty okay spot trying to get somebody's head into a turnbuckle. Sure. I don't think Ronda got the message, because when Liv tried to first do it, Ronda didn't do the corner spot. She was like, oh, is it a backstabber now? And then so she thought it was a backstabber, but then didn't even sell the backstabber. She kind of like fell to the side and rolled over. I was like, what is happening? And then then they were like, no, we got to do the spot. And they redid the spot again. And redoing spots is,
really embarrassing.
Yeah, it's so easy to see. And if you don't do it in a way that kind of plays it off, it's very, very obvious. And this one was just very, very obvious. And I was like, oh geez. I did like
Mhm.
the table, the Liv getting Ronda on the table to do the senton. And like that move was great. She got the 2 pin on Ronda, and then they just start jostling about. They were just jostling about. I literally wrote jostling about because Ronda was trying to get her into some hold with the table still there, and then Liv looked like she was trying to reverse the
Damn.
hold, but then the hold didn't look like anything I've ever seen in my entire life. It looked like it was supposed to be between a triangle, between like they started calling it I forgot what commentary called it, but it was just weird
Mhm.
jostling. They were just jostling around with each other, and I'm like, what is happening
And
right
I don't
now?
know, yeah, and I don't know why it was happening. Because look, you could sell me on the idea that Ronda has such great core strength, that she has thighs of steel, that Liv Morgan
Right.
can't get out of there. But Liv was just really playing around with her head right between like Ronda's knees, and I don't know what
Yes.
that was all about. She didn't need to do that, and she was in control, and then the match just kind of ended. Like, this was such a weird way for the match to go
Yeah.
down.
Can you go to the next picture to the one where she actually
Ass
keep
in the
going. So
pants.
just more Jocelyn. Yeah. Okay. See, like you can go back. Like at one point somebody was like,
Jocelyn.
so did Rhonda's butt just make Liv pass out? Because this
Mm.
was just such a weird choke. Like, look, it's not even like around her neck. It was weird. I don't know. Like
I think
I
Liv
don't know.
I
I
think,
don't know.
I have a theory, Mari. I think Liv, like the rest of us, was just tired, and she just wanted to
Right.
go home, and because she was smiling on her way out. She was smiling the
Yeah.
whole way down. They pointed out on commentary how she was smiling as she passed out, and I just
Yeah.
think
Which I
Liv
like
was
that
tired.
at least.
Well, she could she's over it just like the rest of us. Honestly, if I were Liv Morgan in this match with Ronda Rousey, I probably would have, you know, accidentally had my shoulders down for the 3 right at the beginning just to get it out of the way. And then we'll forget about the match, and we'll forget it ever happened, and we'll move on. And
Yeah.
that's what we hope
Yeah,
for.
I get it. I just I did like that she like passed out smiling. If you want to protect her, that's a way
Sure.
to do it. Sure. And her breaking down a little bit later on the show, like there was a digital exclusive of her like just rocking in a corner.
Ooh.
But it was just it was just not good. I think we have some
It
comments
was
from
giving
the
demented. Some folks said that this was
She said
embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Are you not
Um,
embarrassed?
I am embarrassed
I like
for
the
everyone.
one that said Liv deserved for the match to go better. Yeah, I'm gonna miss her title reign. I agree. Like I just feel it's just so unfortunate. Like we said it from it was not a joke. We said it from the beginning. Like Liv winning Money in the Bank, cashing in that same night, it really I feel like it didn't do her much justice.
Mhm.
Because she could have held that case. She could have really, really built up her character. I know everybody's behind her. I'm behind her. A lot of that
Sure.
audience was behind her. But I think being Miss Money in the Bank and holding that case for a little bit longer could have really gotten her character to another level. And then like you rush and you take the belt off of Ronda, put it on to Liv, but her and Ronda had been beefing the whole time, so we knew
Mhm.
it was just a clock. We knew the clock was running out. We said it
Yeah.
on the preview podcast. It was an ever looming, ever present thing that Ronda is gonna get that belt back. Like I would have much rather she held that title, them continue whatever plans they want to continue with Ronda, whatever big match they have, and Liv would have cashed in like the day after Mania or something like that, and Ronda goes away. Like I would have loved that way more than whatever this interlude was, where she didn't even get to feud with anybody
Yeah.
else. And Ronda being the champion of a division where like all of the girlies are like newish, like they're not new to wrestling. They're just, the women on SmackDown's characters aren't as developed as the women's on Raw, like the
Yeah.
women on Raw. And so it's like a new division in a sense, like they had so many new call ups, stuff like that. And Ronda, I, where's Charlotte? I never thought
What?
I'd ask that.
What?
Where is Charlotte?
Wow.
the
Mari is
lesser
turning heel on all of us
the
right
lesser of
now.
two evils.
Well, okay, look, I'm with you, but I'm also no. Let me, Mari, get it together. Get it together, Mari. Get it together.
Oh my God,
Mari,
I'm
look at
tired. I'm
yourself. Do you have a
tired.
mirror? Look yourself in the mirror. Pull out your phone
I'm
and put on
tired.
selfie mode and just look at yourself for a second. You cannot be the one who's asking for Charlotte frickin'
I'm
Flair
tired.
to
I'd
be your
much rather.
16-time women's champion, Charlotte frickin' Flair. We don't need that, Mari. I want
I'd
you to get
much
a hold of
rather.
yourself. Get a hold of yourself. You know that this is wrong. You
No.
know, Mari. You know.
Like I said, Charlotte gets booked ridiculous, but at least I can guarantee a good match, like most of the time, like 70% of the time. Like this is
I mean, you're
okay.
right, but look, here's all I want. Okay, look, I don't know why Ronda Rousey isn't a full-on heel. I'm kind of
Okay.
confused because I read her as a heel character. They're not leaning into it. I don't know if she was kind of like thrown off by being a heel back in the day when she was a little bit with the and was
Yeah.
she really truly a heel back then with the Becky, Charlotte, whatever stuff? But I just feel
She
like
turned on
she's
like
not willing
before
to
WrestleMania.
go there to be as
Yeah.
dark and dirty as she can. I want to see this. Is she I don't know if she's a cop lover. I was gonna call her a cop loving. Like I want to see her I want to see Ronda Rousey like down and dirty, just like getting in there, offending people. I want it. I need it. And I don't know if we're going to get it, unfortunately, but she needs to be evil because she is evil.
Yeah. Oh God. D
It makes
minus.
me
D
so sad.
minus.
Ooh.
I'm just not giving F because I want to be polite, but D minus. It was just so it was so bad. It was like the sloppiest match on the card too.
Uh-huh.
Again,
Agreed.
not on the performers' parts, really. I say it's bad chemistry. Like a lot of the furniture did not go well for them. But I mean, it was just woo. Ronda has beat up a cop a few times. I mean, every time,
So maybe she,
Edmo.
but
Oh
yeah.
God.
No,
Yeah.
I'm with you, and it was incredibly sloppy. I think that D minus is just rude, Mari. So I'm gonna
I
go with the D
okay. Well, that's
because it states the
it was
it gets the
literally
point
the
across.
worst match. Like I had low hopes going in, but gosh darn it, like you didn't even hit that. Like the bar was in hell and you couldn't surpass
Damn,
it.
are being in hell. Look, no, I mean they could have done so much here. They had the weapons and everything. Ronda's not a wrestler.
Okay, so
Ronda's
that's
not a
another thing. I think I'm gonna have to rescind my thought that oh, like weapons can improve any match because I think this match
not any
showed that
match.
that is not the case.
You need to know what you're doing, and I just don't get the
Uh,
vibe that Ronda's in it. Like she's not in it. I don't know what's going on, but she hasn't been in it for the last year since coming back at the Royal Rumble. So it is what it is. I will say, Alex Trias pointing out Ronda and Logan Paul are the same. This is his take. Ronda and Logan Paul being the same, both refuse to officially be a heel, but Ronda as a face only acts like a heel to the audience. Like, yeah, it's
okay.
not great. And I agree. Logan Paul can wrestle a bit better. Actually, I would say Logan Paul has been a lot better with his limited time. Like,
That's
he's
so
been great.
sad.
He's been great. But obviously, we
Mhm.
understand a lot of that's just like practice
And
but
the
still,
and again, like Ronda's first run was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like it was pretty good. Like
it was solid.
it
I
was
was
very solid.
excited. I loved
It was
it.
very solid. So
She
it's
left when she
just
needs to leave too.
yeah, I think she should not have come back for the encore because this is
Uh, I mean, Mari, you can't blame her
yikes.
for wanting the money.
Right.
I know I'd be back even if I couldn't do my job, but they're like, Matt, we'll pay you. I'd be like, sure.
All right, let's move on to Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. In a strap
Mm.
match with Charlotte. Charlotte.
Oh, no.
Charlotte's on the brain now.
I,
She has to
I was
come back
like, Mari,
soon.
not all blonde
Sorry.
women
I know.
are
No,
the
no.
same.
That's horrible. Um
Yeah, I agree.
Scarlett looked great. Like flashes of like Sable,
Oh
Attitude Era,
yeah.
what she was wearing. Everybody
Mhm.
loved that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
wrote cool entrance, bro, because like Karrion Kross is like his like Scarlett makes the entrance.
He's just
The
there.
whole gimmick is the entrance. Yes, exactly. Um, you know,
But to be
it's
fair, all he needs to do anytime someone calls him out is just like point to his finger, like the ring. Look at the ring. It's there. I don't need to, I do what I do. I do what I want to
yeah.
do.
I mean, he
You
truly is.
can't not.
Like Scarlett makes the package. We've seen that
Whoa.
without her, like it what are we even doing here? Like why are we even
Making the
here?
package.
So I thought it was cute, cool entrance. Drew coming out. Somebody said Drew had boo-boo face like coming out. Like he was not excited when he came out.
I mean, he didn't look like he had like a Red Bull before, sure, but it wasn't
Mhm.
anything notable to me.
I didn't notice either until somebody said later. This was the match that I had like the hardest time focusing on. Like I was just like zoning in and out because it was not
Mhm.
it was boring. Like the Liv and Ronda match was like slightly offensive in the way that it was just like how terrible it was. This one was just mediocre, bland, boring for me. So I was just like
Yeah. You know
I couldn't
what?
even be mad at what was happening like tuned in order to
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. And I think my big thing is this, like, if the one thing that could make it a lot more interesting is if they just gave Scarlett more moments, if they just leaned into
Mhm.
Scarlett. Like, I would almost like to see her being the main character in any match that she's involved in. But like, like she could be there on the mic, just like whatever she has to
Like
say,
a
whatever she has to do is
chanting, like
interesting.
she like
Because she was
like
yelling at one point on ringside, but in the background, like more, more, more.
that would have been
Like
cool. Yeah.
she's insane, and
Like
just
hyping
cutting the.
him up or something.
We love that, yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think giving her more moments and putting her more at the center in a way that we probably haven't seen the women would be awesome, and just kind of featuring her in that way that would make her an even more unique. Like she's an insanely unique character, but we're just
Mhm.
she shouldn't be behind Karrion Kross anyway. She should always be seen as
In
his
front.
driving force and in front because she's in charge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the match it was literally serviceable. It was serviceable. Did it do the job? Like, does it make Karrion Kross, like, a big attraction? I don't know. I guess I think some people liked it, so, I mean, it wasn't a complete fail. Uh, Scarlett did, like,
Huh.
pepper spray Drew in order for Kross to win, so, like, I mean, acceptable, I guess. Um
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the finish.
Mhm.
I don't know why
It protected Drew,
does
definitely.
she always have pepper spray with her? Does she I just kind of wonder like why she doesn't do this all the time if it's so
Well,
effective.
I liked how Extreme Rules every match they were like, "Everything is legal." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true. That's great." Like I did like that. People were taking advantage of the night being, basically no disqualifications. So I thought it worked here. She can't mace every person, every match that crosses in.
Why
So
not though? I don't see why not. Like she can and she should and hopefully she will because at the end of the day, what's a disqualification when you could mace your husband's opponent in the face and still stand tall? Like that's what I'm all about. Who cares about wins and losses when you could be the best? And she gets that. I love that for my girl. I almost called her Charlotte.
Charlotte, I know. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There's not really much to really say more. I mean, it was a
No,
serviceable match.
there's yeah,
I'll give it like a C or something.
yeah. I mean, I would give it
Like honestly, I have nothing else to say. We can take some comments. Like I don't
There's no comments because nobody cares.
know.
This was and agreed to the comments. Boring match of the night, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that Karrion Kross won here, and I hope we get more interesting things going forward. But
I'm hoping that this means there's no more of this. No more of him versus Drew. Let's move on. Let's
yeah,
move
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
along.
yeah.
Yeah.
We strapped in, and now we're ready to tap out.
They have to find a good opponent for Drew because I think Drew is really like loved over there in Crown Jewel. So maybe did Drew and
Junior.
Gunther fight yet. I mean, I don't think we're moving away from Gunter and Sheamus anytime soon, but I think they did at some point. That could be a good match. Yeah.
Drew and Gunther. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with him. And I feel like it's a similar thing with The Miz, where he's kind of just in this spot with Lumis. Not to say Lumis isn't great, but it's just a weird spot that The Miz is in right now.
Yeah.
And it's a weird spot that Drew's in right now, especially after just losing to Roman a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago. Yeah, exactly. So, because that's what I was just thinking, because I was like, because Crown Jewel is the speed bump to Survivor Series, so they can't even like really start building to Survivor Series where we're gonna get those war game matches. So I don't know. I really hope that doesn't mean that they'll continue to fight just because there's nobody else.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Drew is your like number 2 babyface on SmackDown, I think. So
yeah.
Well,
Amari.
Is he number 1 or number 2? Sammy is getting up there. Is he the number 1 babyface on SmackDown?
I would call Drew number 2. I would call Drew number 2. Who's the number 1 babyface?
That's what I just thought. Like, I think I accidentally included Roman.
I was like, wait, yeah. I was thinking Roman too, but
but he's not.
In theory, I think that if you would like ask Triple H, like Drew's number 1 babyface on SmackDown,
like Sheamus, Drew, maybe 1 and 2.
No, not Sheamus. Girl, no, not Sheamus. We love him, but
who's number 1?
Drew.
Okay, Drew's number 1. So then, what does he do? Because he's been losing. Like,
that's not my problem.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Next up.
I don't know, Mari, what's next on the card? I wonder.
My favorite match of the night.
Bam.
High expectations. And they delivered.
Wait, I see what you did there. High expectation because it's a ladder. So they have to climb up the ladder. Like,
exactly.
Clever.
Bayley versus Bianca. First ever women's one-on-one ladder match, which again is still so weird because like you really think to yourself, there's no way that they have never had like a women's one-on-one ladder match. But then when Michael Cole was talking about Extreme Rules matches and how like the first Extreme Rules match was back in 2010, I'm like, really? Like,
okay, there were hardcore matches before.
No, that's true. There it is. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
But the ladder's always been laddering. And so this was apparently the first women's one-on-one ladder match, which makes no sense. And honestly, I know we talked about before in the predictions preview episode, wishing that they would stress it more. Like, oh, this is a big deal. They're making history. I'm glad that they didn't, because it's embarrassing that it took this long for them to have a women's ladder match.
Yeah, it's that weird dichotomy because it's like you want them to stress it more because these like hype that up. These are your 2 women who are doing the thing, but it's also like we've been talking about it like a few years ago when they were doing the women's evolution and all that stuff. They kept being like for the first time ever, that it just got annoying because people thought that they were just doing it just to do it, you know.
Every damn week.
Yeah, so I like how they did it. I like how they introduced the match. They hyped up the match, then they told us like, oh, by the way, this is the first time ever, and you're like, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was cool, it was cute.
Yeah,
I love this match.
So I want you to just like go off and talk about why you love this match, because I will definitely go off and talk about why I loved my match of the night. But why was this your match of the night, Mari?
Because it felt so like real. I was sucked into the story. I thought it had great pacing. I thought everybody's motivations were like clear up front and center. Like starting a match where Bianca, like they both grab ladders, right? But Bianca's sole focus is just go up the ladder, grab the belt. Like she's not even really doing much to Bayley in those first few minutes. Hit Bayley in the face, scurry up the ladder.
Right.
Give her a small kick, scurry up the ladder. Like I like how they emphasize on commentary, like Bianca Belair is just trying to get this over as soon as possible. She just wants the belt. And I'm like, yes, because that is sometimes people forget, like in ladder matches, you gotta climb the ladder and get the belt. They're so focused on what's going on at the bottom that they get sidetracked. You know, that's been a storyline where it's like we want to cause pain to each other so much that there's not even hindsight about there's a title above the ring. So I love that it was just like Bianca's like laser focused. I loved Bayley setting furniture up while also berating children. snatching
Rude.
signs. Like, it was so fluid. They have such good chemistry together when they wrestle, but they're like professionals when it comes to like making these awkward things where you're trying to like open a ladder, not feel
Mhm.
so awkward, you know? And it's just something that comes with time, comes with talent, comes with ability. And it was a stark contrast to the Liv and Ronda match because they were working with cumbersome ladders and they still managed to get everything in the right place. No obvious like mistakes, botches. It, it felt like even the down moments made sense.
Yeah. You
Everything.
know what? Let me give this to you. Like, the thing I love most about this match is exactly what you're talking about. The psychology was all there. Like,
Mhm.
the motivation made sense. Bianca, your job is to get up the ladder and get the championship. And really, Bayley was often in a defensive position to stop Bianca constantly. And
Mhm.
so Bayley, I feel like, was the one who would step the ladder to, she was really focused on how do I destroy Bianca so she can't keep
Yes.
going up this ladder. And Bianca
Yes.
kept going up the ladder multiple
Mhm.
times. I don't know how many attempts, but it felt like a dozen attempts over the course of their
Mhm.
like 15-minute plus match. And for me, the thing that I appreciate most about that is that it's logical. Like, we didn't get her
Mhm.
doing the Jeff Hardy thing of like,
Yeah,
let's drag
get
Bayley up
out.
the ramp, let's set up the ladder, but like put like a stack of 15 chairs on top of the ladder, and then I'm gonna put Bayley on top of the chairs and the ladder, and then go up to the top of the Tron and jump off of it to put her through, and then I'm gonna go up the ladder. Like, we didn't get any of that,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting because like a lot of the best ladder matches, obviously people think of the Jeff Hardy ones as often the best ones. No shade to him, he's phenomenal, we love him, especially in the Black community. But like, I just think that getting this logical match was nice. To me, it just wasn't the most exciting thing, but it did do a great job of showing Bianca's ability to stay on top. And obviously, we had Io and Dakota run in at one point, which we knew was happening at some
Mhm.
point because they didn't come out at the beginning of the match. And Bianca handled them, and she just kind of did her thing. Like, I, I I don't know. Maybe it's the match itself, as the stipulation might not be the most exciting sometimes, but it was what it
Yeah.
was, and they did a great job. And I just love that Bianca. Like, I feel like Bianca. I wrote this down in my notes, but I feel like Bianca is like a human highlight reel and very
Mhm.
underrated. Like, I can't.
Mhm.
I know this from listening to Bayley talk about her own athleticism, for instance. And no shade to Bayley, but like, Bayley isn't going to be in there doing what Io Sky is doing.
Mhm.
Bianca could do what Io
Both.
Sky does. She could
Mhm.
do it all, and we love that
Yeah.
for her. And I have to say,
And
because
that's no shade
Alex,
to Io.
yes, no shade to Io either. And
Mhm.
just Alex Trias pointing out in the chat, and I was wondering about this too. Why was Nikita Lyons from NXT in the crowd watching this match? They showed her and they were like, NXT, Nikita, she's here. She's taking it all in. She's doing splits on people's faces. But I don't know what that was about. And it seemed like they really made it a stretch to justify her being there because Bayley and Bianca were in NXT before, but very random. It's almost like she's
Overhyped and overexposed.
Nikita Lyons.
Yes. I'm not like I am not a fan.
I mean,
Um,
Maury, okay, I have to say, they did post that there was our very first match with the split and the all that.
the
They did
pin,
post that for like a month. Yes, they did post it for about a month. And
and they made her do it every freaking week, like for 3 months straight. I'm like, y'all, it's mid. It's
and
mid in a
she's a
pretty
good performer.
package.
She's
Yeah.
increasing as a performer. It's just weird to only have her watching this match, but hey, maybe she was in Philly for the weekend.
Yeah. Either way, I back to the real Bayley and Bianca. I really liked like Bayley didn't seem to miss a step.
No,
Honestly, I had to be reminded when she took her knee brace, a piece of her knee brace out, that she had just had, the ACL surgery. Well, not just had, but that's what she recovered from.
yeah,
And I forgot to. I kept telling myself like, oh, I got to make sure. I want to look to see if like Bayley is like if it feels like Bayley's not it wasn't her normal self before
Right.
the injury. I totally forgot. I totally forgot she had the injury, and that's how good she is. She's such a good ring leader, ring general, all of that.
Yeah.
Like you said, the psychology of Bayley saying, I have to put Bianca down long enough to climb this ladder. Well, Bianca's like, I can take it all and just try and get up this ladder. Yeah, Bayley has always been the most underestimated horsewoman.
Yes.
I agree, but also I can't agree because I love her and I don't know. It's like she's right up there. Like, it's weird. They're just all so good.
And if I was going to put anyone in most underestimated, it would, because we have seen Becky deliver. Obviously, Charlotte, Flair. I mean, I would say I would put Sasha in that spot, but only because people still don't. Way too many people still shade Sasha and don't see the value in her. I feel like with Bayley, they've always gotten it. Like when she was ponytail, turn it up Bayley in NXT, people were saying she'd be the next John Cena. When she was on the main roster and carrying things in the pandemic, she was so over. But I mean, I hear you. I get it.
Yeah, I get what he says, because it's so hard, because at any one time it feels like you think, okay, this is my horsewoman power ranking. The next year, like somebody moves up the list. Like they're all just so good.
The
like,
horsewoman power ranking. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like each year it feels like it changes because one of them has like a banner year. But yeah, Bayley is just so freaking good. Like just so freaking good. And her and Bianca have the absolute like best chemistry. I honestly think I might say that Bayley and Bianca have like better chemistry than Bianca and Sasha. And that's not saying, again, that's not dissing but I think they have the best chemistry.
I think that's fine. And I think that's very true.
And I think it's better than her and Becky too.
No, but
Bianca and Becky.
Okay, sure. But Mari, I haven't heard you say Bayley and you know what? I'm not going to bring that energy into here. We don't need to talk about Bayley and Sasha, but I don't want to talk about that.
Oh no, they're number one in the chemistry. Number
but that's one. It takes time.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes time. But then Bianca, I don't know. We've talked about this so many times, but Bianca is just so good that she has really stepped in the ring with all of the horsewomen and delivered. But then she also stepped in the ring with like Doudrop and delivered. Rhea delivered. You know what I'm saying? Like Carmella and delivered. You know what I'm saying? Like
she is really good, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of people last night were calling Bianca a generational talent after she won. And I think that,
they should have been calling her that before she won.
I mean, the conversation's been out there, but she truly is up there because, like we were saying when we were talking to Aaron, it's like she's at the top for a reason. And at this point, she doesn't need the title, but it's just like she's commanding it. She's commanding it. Because if I went to a Raw, if I went there and Bianca wasn't there that night, I'm throwing a chair. Like it's a riot.
Mari, that literally happened to me here in DC. At least the part of the show that I saw, and I was like, "Where is the queen? Like, what are we doing here? Why do we even convene the court if the queen's not going to be here?" And the other thing I'll say about Bianca that I really love and appreciate, just to shout her out more, is that there were these video packages of, I don't know if it was like WWE 24 or what it is, but they had video packages of her, or actually one longer one of her, about her life growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee, like about not dimming your light, about being the hero she always wanted to be. She mentioned like overcoming bulimia. Like this woman has done a lot to get to where she is. And this was interspersed in the show. And I think they showed it even after. I don't know if there's like a longer piece that we need to watch, but I'll definitely look it up on Peacock to see if there's anything. But
they should have given her a 365 or something.
Maybe that was what they're going. I don't know what it is. It seems like we'll get something longer, but it was interesting that they did have like her sitting in the studio giving her story, and that authenticity is really awesome to be able to get from Bianca.
Whew, yeah, it was good. Yeah, EO and Dakota did come out. They took a half double KOD. It was a little, it was a little messed up a little bit. Like Io kind of got hung up, so it felt like
Sure.
Bianca couldn't do the full rotation, but it still worked. The one thing that was kind of weird in the final moments, Bianca opened up a ladder on its side, but then went and grabbed Bayley, and Bayley was holding a ladder into that last KOD. So I was like, there are so many ladders in this. Why? What is happening? It was so scary.
Yeah.
That last KOD that Bayley took with the ladder, Bayley was holding the ladder. Bianca hit her with a KOD. The ladder hit Bayley in the face, upper chest area. I was like, oof, that has to hurt. It also landed on Bianca's ankle.
Ooh.
Yeah, it did. But I think they're okay. It was just, it was so hard hitting, like in that last moment there, and it was so good. Everybody loves when Bianca hits a KOD. Jeez, it's one of the that move is so good. I'm so glad they found that move for her, because her first like 2 finishers were not as good.
And it is undefeated. Like that KOD is still undefeated. And the way that I actually loved this spot. I don't know what Bayley was attempting to do with her little half ladder in that point, but the way that Bianca hit that KOD and the way that Bayley flipped on top of it so perfectly. Like the thing is, yes, you mentioned the KOD with Dakota and Io and that not being the most exciting thing. Yeah. But you know what? It hit enough for them to do replays and point out what happened. It looked good. It looked really good. And so no, I have zero botch points to give this match. And if anything, it's just that I really got into another match later. Actually, the next match, I believe. But this was so solid, as always.
Yeah, this is where the show truly like picked up, really. The last 3 matches.
Business was about to pick up, and it did.
Yeah. It was just so good. Like, and Bianca won. I was like, cool. We said on the preview, either one of them could have won and I would have been okay, and I think it would have made sense. I don't think I would have been that upset if Bianca lost a ladder match. Man, I don't know where they go from here.
No,
I don't know if we still get Bianca versus Damage Control. I do want to see them in the War Games match, but I don't know how you prolong this enough for that. We'll see.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. I mean, I think that it's easy for them to prolong it because they're not going to have, like, I mean, Bayley's not going to stop. Damage Control's not going to stop. So they just need to ratchet it up to the next level. Now, my question is, who's going to be in Bianca's corner in War Games? Who's going to be there for her, have her back? And will it be something that's even like women from SmackDown and from Raw all together, including Bianca? But it could also be Raquel. It could also be, some of them coming together to take on Damage Control. Exactly. So maybe we'll get that. But I get excited at the fact that we didn't see Asuka. Shout out to Asuka and Alexa Bliss, her too, because I wish there was like a timer to when Sasha Banks and Naomi would come back, but I just feel like when we don't get Asuka and Alexa, I have that much more hope that we'll get Sasha and Naomi. Maybe we should give up hope, but
we might. Like, honestly,
we might, yeah.
Honestly, like I said on the preview, if they didn't come back this week, I think that they're not going to come back until Rumble. That's what I'm thinking. Fine. I don't know. I'll give it an A, solid A for me.
I'll give it a solid A too,
because I liked it.
Yeah,
everything worked.
It did.
Yeah. All right. So your favorite match is up, Matt. So tell us about Edge versus Finn.
Let me give you the highlights of that Edge versus Finn action. So I'll also say this, that I was not excited about this match going into it. For me, again, I mentioned earlier in the show, but Edge was edging, like really edging 20 years ago. I wasn't even doing that on purpose, Mari. But yeah, 20 years ago, and he was really doing his thing. And he has long, flowing, gorgeous hair and all that stuff. And he just moves a little slower. That's kind of the rhythm of how he does things. But to me, what really got me into this match, because I was sort of like half watching and they were brawling around the arena, was just the ways that the story picked up later in the match. So we had Finn Balor coming out with his little
Yeah. The little
mask of
mask.
some sorts. I
Yeah.
don't
Kind of like a
know.
Hellraiser's, like, I don't know. Hellraiser
I just feel
dropped
like
this weekend, so
we
on the
can't go
brain.
back to the dominatrix well, but that's what that
Ooh,
mask is giving. I mean,
you're right.
This is Rhea's family.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm not too surprised about that. I will say one of the funny things to me about this match was that at every point in time, the ref's job was to take a mic and put it
Yes.
into Edge's face or Finn's face, like, you quitting? You quitting? Huh? Huh? I felt like I was
That
watching
was annoying.
TMZ. I felt like I was
Yes.
watching TMZ. I'm like, get that camera and mic out of that man's face, especially when I think
At
there's
the
a point
beginning of the match. Like,
at the beginning of the match. Like, sir, do you not understand pro wrestling and psychology? You know that he wasn't going to quit then. But like, even when Finn had some sort of object like in his mouth, whether like, I don't even remember, maybe it was a bat or something,
mhm,
but this ref is putting up the mic to his face. Like, so at first I'm like, this is a little goofy and
mhm.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is actually a picture, I guess, of the
Yes.
hockey stick that Finn or
The
the
hockey
Edge
stick.
put in Finn's mouth while the ref is putting the mic up to. So make it make sense, referee, sir. But so this is all going on, and I was already into it. But what
Okay. So
really,
I don't
yeah,
mean to
please, please,
stop
please
you,
stop me,
but just for 2 seconds, Edge's
please.
entrance. Did you see the ridiculousness that happened in Edge's entrance?
No.
First off, him coming out and, like, a security guard being, like, too close on the stage that, like, Edge is trying to do his entrance and the security guard is trying to, like, lean really far back out of the shot, but we can see you. It's like, we can see you, like,
Oh my
not
god,
out of
wait,
the
I need to
shot.
rewatch this.
And then, I'll send it to you, but then also Edge goes for his big moment, his big, his in the camera, and this person on the, like, the right, well, our right side, like, facing TV, has
Yeah.
this huge sign, like, puts it right into the camera right next to Edge and says, "Edge is more played out than Harley Quinn cosplay." Right next to Edge. I was like, "Oh, I was embarrassed before the match started."
The disrespect
It was so
is
disrespectful. It was
Mari,
so
I don't know if I could
disrespectful.
find I don't know if I could find a picture of the security guard, but I just, if anyone wants to see what Mari is talking about, just search Edge security and it will come right
Yeah.
up on Twitter. And this man is laying back, like, I'm surprised he didn't fall over, but good for, and I don't know why Edge was in his face like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wow. Good catch. And this is also for me, I will say, like, I was not coming into this match excited. I was not watching the entrances closely. I was not watching most of the first match of this match, most of the first
First
half of the
half
match
of this match.
closely,
Mhm.
and it
'Cause
got
it's just
me.
weird moaning into the mics. Because like you said, the ref just
That
kept
sums it up very
we're
well.
we're 2 minutes into this match. Why would I quit 2 minutes into this match? Like, why he hit me with a punch. You
Yeah.
wanna quit? No. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but you know what? I did appreciate the mic because I think there were some points, like there was a point when they were in the ring early on where, like, Edge just kind of like talking crap, like, and that was the thing. Like, you get to create a different experience for the live audience. And I might even say that I
That's
think
true.
I would almost say that an I Quit match is maybe one of the best, if not the best stipulation match to have for a live audience because they're
Mhm.
able to follow along with what's happening. The mic gets put in someone's face, then they say screw you, I'm not quitting, and then the crowd pops, and I love that, rather than, because it's easy to forget that the live audience doesn't have commentary, and I just think this
That's
makes it a
true.
little bit more interactive for them, which is fun.
Mhm.
But look, so we're doing the match. The match is doing its thing. I will say, I don't know. I think the first half, like, I could get rid of the first half. Like, yes, we love some brawling in the crowd,
Mhm.
but I just love the point where Judgment Day ran in and started to attack, because I think that's when business really started to pick up.
Yep. Yep. I
Yeah.
agree. 'Cause Judgment Day comes out and then Rey Mysterio comes out and Dominic starts being the crap out of his daddy.
Rude. Rude. And all in that same moment, so we do get Edge doing like a, see, I thought that was a little goofy, like Edge spear / suicide dive onto all of Judgment Day takes them out.
Mhm.
Like, they couldn't. there are three of you. You can figure out something. It was very Three Stooges. But then Rhea handcuffed Edge. And
The
that's when
savior of the night.
I
Rhea, the savior of the night.
said, I know that
Pop you.
she is not the first person in that ring tonight. If we look at Dom, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor to have been handcuffed by Rhea Ripley. So I'm just saying she was very at ease with the cuffs. And I thought to myself, the longer that they wait and just let this go on, like the longer we're gonna see some people coming in and helping Edge out. And I was hoping that Beth would be here because
Me too.
Rhea held up that key and shook it. And I'm like, I guess this means that we need Beth here. And we got Beth, of course, eventually. But anything else before even that point that stood out
Yes.
to you with this match?
The handcuffs, like her handcuffing him, and that visual of him moving the handcuffs to like the middle of the ring,
Yeah.
and then the three Judgment Day guys just behind him, and she's just like, it was just one of those moments like, oh no, it's like what's gonna happen? Yes, this moment here,
Oof.
I was like, woo, you're in for a hurt, you're in for a hurt. And I just love that like this is where you ratchet it up, where the I quit makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the punishment that you think that you're gonna get before that, when the I quit makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I love them beating up on him. That's when Ray comes out,
Yes.
provides enough distraction for like Dom to focus on Ray, and then for Beth to come out and like clear house. Like Beth with a kendo stick cleared like all of the Judgment Day out.
That was badass that she took out Finn and she took out Damian Priest, and they were selling like I mean, like one of the male superstars can, like, it wasn't like they were no selling her at all, which makes sense for Beth freaking Phoenix because she's that physical threat. And I mean, honestly, I feel like I would have taken her throughout this whole feud being here, but like, I love that she's here now, or that I should say, I love that she was here for this night because the way that things went, not sure where they would go. But I just like, we want you want Beth there when you see Rhea there with that key, and Beth shows up. And also they get Judgment Day in kayfabe gave her way too much time to show up. I don't know where she was, but she got her fancy flashy jacket on and her little boots on, and she came out there, and we got her with Rhea one-on-one, which was also another amazing part. And we got the full-on tease for them one-on-one. So I love that. And I don't even know where else to like go with this because there were so many other fun spots to break it down. But
so I like that Beth got the key from Rhea, uncuffs Edge, and it's like, okay, it's a fair fight again. But this is it ended how we thought it would. You know what I'm saying? Like most I quit matches are not I quit because you're hurting me so badly. It's I quit either because you're doing something else that's gonna make me want to quit, or somebody throws in the towel for me. So when Beth was clearing house, I was like, oh, okay, so she's helping. They have the upper hand. It doesn't feel like she's gonna quit on him, quit for him.
No.
And she did a great job. She cleared out Rhea too, and they're one-on-one. But Judgment Day got the upper hand. Like Rhea knocked her in the head with some brass knuckles. I mean,
in the back of the head. How disrespectful. Could you imagine?
So good. Judgment Day, the rest of the men hold Edge down. Well, Rhea, I was like, you just saw it coming. It was like a slow motion, like car chase, car crash, and it's just like she's gonna concerto. She's gonna concerto.
Mari, it was a carjacking. They jacked these people because Edge gets the triple coup de grace in the freaking gut.
Yes,
his intestines. Yes. I wonder how they're doing. RAP to Edge's intestines, and he's not gonna quit. He's not gonna do it. Beth is right there. And you just see it again, slow moving car crash.
Oh yeah, Edge kicked Dom in the nuts. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, look, it happened, and it pained me to see it, but he deserved it.
Yeah, he did.
Way up in the. He didn't only kick. Look, Mark, he kicked him like all the way up there.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
I
saying. So
and then we got the finish where we thought Finn took 3 spears, so I thought that was gonna do it. Oh my god, it
sure.
was so good. That was such a good match. But yeah,
I
so
I I think from the
mhm.
storytelling standpoint, though, the thing that I really loved here, because I could just go on about like all the little pieces that jump out to me, but the thing I really loved is that just like the storytelling, like Beth went from being an asset to Edge. Like she comes out, she saves the day, to being a big liability, just kind of
Mm,
laying there. And
yeah.
Edge can't really do anything. And so you could see a world where he wouldn't quit. And he has his back up against the wall. He's like, I need to quit, or else my wife, the mother of my children, is going to be smashed with these chairs. He quits. They decide not to listen. It happens anyway. And I just feel like I wish that this whole thing happened in an open air arena, because that would have been the perfect moment for like a torrential downpour on Edge as he cried there, like holding Beth and like just grieving the whole situation, because it was so well done. Edge brings
It
so
was.
much emotion to all of this. And that's the thing I love, even though his matches are typically very slow. And as Alex
Yeah.
Trias says in the chat, judgment shows no mercy. Damn, you should put that on a
Yeah.
t-shirt, Alex.
Yep. And Alex did make a good point. Like Rhea actually engaged with in the action this time, so maybe she might be cleared because remember she was out with like concussion issues or brain injury issues. She's been out since like mid
June.
June, July, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she hasn't really wrestled ever since then, but she's been such a part of the Judgment Day that they've been doing a good job of like keeping her relevant. But yeah, when Edge quits, when Edge quits, so Beth doesn't get hit with the concerto, and Rhea like puts the chair down.
Nasty.
I was like, she's gonna do it anyways. And I don't the
I was
really bad part of
hoping.
me. I know the bad part of
Because
me,
at the
I was like,
exactly,
do it
because I was like,
anyway.
no, if Rhea puts this down and doesn't do it,
Oh,
I'll like immediately like just a few, not like hundreds of overness points, but just a few overness points. Like it goes down for me because I'm just like, you know who you are. You know what you're supposed to do. Even if in the script they said, put down the chair, don't do it. You need to do it because you're Rhea Ripley
it was
and you
so
got to take her
brutal.
out. They're pure
Such a great
evil.
shot. It was
Pure
such a great shot.
evil. And the fact that Edge had to watch it.
Watch it, yeah. Oh, they like
Ugh.
Judgment Day legit just went up like 3 octaves from just that. Like that's how you get a group over
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, you thought we were just gonna be goofy jobbers? No, we're like coming to destroy." And it was like, it was so bad. And I also thought it was kind of a interesting
Hmm.
callback because remember when Seth Rollins had threatened to hit a curb stomp on Edge when he was still retired, and he forced like Cena to accept a match or whatever,
Yeah.
and Cena like accepted the match or whatever, and then Seth said he's like, I'm gonna curb stop him anyway, you stupid son of a but Edge doesn't get curb stopped, like he gets out of the way.
Yeah.
That moment, I don't know why that moment like lives rent free in my head like so much because Seth Rollins, that was peak Seth Rollins like back in the day when
Well,
he still had the streak.
I think that's also like a little bit of shades of Edge's brilliance. Like again,
Mhm.
Edge is very he'd be an interesting person to just sit down and talk with. One, because I hope, well, I'm not gonna say, and look, he's been through a lot, and so
Mhm.
but he seems like he has a really good head still for the business and everything, and he always leans into that emotion. Like even back in the day when it was Edge and Lita, it was just that raw emotion. And so
Mhm.
Edge, like I love that for him, wrestling isn't just about the physicality, it's about the story and the narrative and how we play it. And this again to me could have been like part one or act one of like a Wolverine movie or something like that, or like like
Mhm.
I could see there's a series here, and to me this only feels like it's halfway through the story being done with the Judgment Day. There's so much more story they could tell because Beth needs to come back and get her revenge,
Yeah,
and that's really the
definitely.
key thing. But Edge also just like a man scorned, and we love that for him.
Yeah, I wonder if like but I'm pretty sure Crown Jewel will want Edge. I think this would be like
Totally.
a good time for him to like go away for a little bit, but then I realized he like just came back. Ugh, it's like I don't know.
Keep him in
Like
here.
How do you get it? Yeah, like, but how do you have an I Quit match and it be so like that, and then you just still show up to work like the next day?
Oh,
Like
you
that feels
don't.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like that feels like,
Well, you don't show up the next day, and I think the problem is that Crown Jewel is only like
2
less than a
weeks
month
away.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't know, but I mean, the thing
2
is,
2 weeks.
he could wrestle again at Crown Jewel. He could.
Yeah,
It just would
maybe
be
he.
like,
Hmm.
yeah, think about it.
Yeah, I don't know,
We'll see.
but it was
Who
good.
knows? Yeah, let's hope he doesn't show up tomorrow on Raw.
Yeah,
At least be with your
and
family.
yeah, yeah. I think give Judgment Day at least like 1 week to like have their victory lap, you
Mhm.
know, and then maybe come back the following week and like start like maybe trying to hunt them down and get revenge and all that or
It
something.
is sad though too. You think that Edge would have a lot more friends who would show up for him, like Christian. I know that
Uh,
he's in AEW,
Disposed,
but like
yeah.
you don't let friends don't let contracts get in the
He's-
way of helping other friends. Just wear a mask and hit someone with a chair or something and run out. Tony Khan will be okay.
All right, I give this match an A minus. We gotta go.
I
Look
give
at
this
us. We're
match
just-
an A+.
we're
Well, I
just
don't think
having
we're
too
gonna.
much-
Here's the
too much
thing: this
fun.
match was a highlight, and then the next one is whatever. But I'll give this an A+, just for like the storytelling toward the end.
So for
But
you, this is the best match of the night.
yeah,
That's what you said.
from the story, yes, the storytelling was really there. Bianca and Bayley, I love them, but this is not going to be the best. That's not going to be the best match that they ever have.
Okay, I just think if it wasn't for the ending, this match would have been a nothing burger.
I mean, that's
Because
fine
the
with me.
beginning was.
I would give you this. I would say the second half, only because as I watched it, I was freaking out. Like, oh, Beth needs to come here. Beth runs in. Oh, Ray, Dom. It all happens. It all happens so poetically that I just appreciate the thought and the writing and the emotion of it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I didn't feel as much emotion with the Bayley Bianca match this time compared with this one. But I guess that's like, fine. I mean, yeah, maybe Montez Ford needs to come out and get concertoed, and then I would be like, oh my gosh, this is. But yeah,
I would love that type of run up, like
me too.
Street Profits and Bianca versus Ray and
I would love her to have their back. And
that'd be A1.
That'd be the hero. Let's do that.
Yeah. All right. So our headlining match, the final match, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. Matt, them saying like Matt Riddle's personal life is in shambles. Like he needs this win. That was funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, choices. You just need to make different choices. Like your personal life. You know what? I'm not even gonna drag him.
Let's not drag him. We'll stay kayfabe.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins came out dressed as RVD in Philadelphia.
Oh,
amazing.
that's what was going on.
Yes, when he's doing the thing and everything.
He did the thumbs, but I didn't get the whole reference for the outfit.
His outfit,
he does. He has
little
and everything. Why does he have tights on?
Well, because that's not his real gear. You know, he doesn't wrestle in the singlet. It's like singlet adjacent, so you can tell off the bat. Like, and then some people like me need the more obvious reference. I need him in the full on RVD, like little singlet. Yeah, we've been saying it for like months now, but Seth like picking his wrestling attire based on his opponents has been amazing because there's also the added layer that people have been calling Matt Riddle like a discount RVD apparently. Like, yeah, so
that's true. And also, but I would also love to, and that's very true.
RVD, Seth,
because I would love to see Seth versus RVD.
Right. Oh man, so it was just layers. It was layers to this, you know. And
I mean,
it was cute.
Yeah, overall, how did you feel about this match? Just to like touch on that.
So the rules are confusing as fuck. Like that's why they had to keep telling it to us like 8 times. But I was like, okay, I think I get it now. The beginning, Daniel Cormier was like, why are you here to wrestle? Like he kept like throwing, I'm not here to fight. Are you sure?
Because it's like, bro, calm down. Like, please get your hands off of these people. Like you're just doing a little bit too much. getting in the middle of things. Even okay,
Yes.
bouncing ahead, but even to the finish, he did a very MMA thing in terms of throwing.
Yes.
Like the submission happens, the tap happens, and he got in the middle of it rather than the
Yeah.
WWE thing of just kind of like it ends when it ends,
Which I
unless it
liked.
goes on too long.
I'm not gonna lie. So
I liked it too.
like the beginning, I was like, okay, DC, like get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Move out the way.
like, yeah, move out the way. Exactly. Like, because I was like, we see you, we know you're here, we get it, you're enforcing the law, got it. After that, he got out of the way. I did like when Rollins was yelling at him to count from up at the top of the pit. And DC was like, you can't, I can't count.
I can't count. And I'm just like, wait, why is that a rule that
like they were saying it on commentary?
Yeah.
He was yelling it. I really wonder how that read on the audience now that I think about it, because like I said, commentary had to say it like 8 times for me to understand it. So I wonder how that was in the audience with like Seth and DC like yelling it. But it was a very interesting match.
It was. And I'll also say, like, I guess my thing is, I mean, rules are great, right? But why? Why is that the rule? Like, it would make more sense to me if it's like, okay, the ref needs to climb up the cage to get onto the platform to count. But why are we not counting on the platform?
Yeah.
Because that'd be awesome.
I don't know, because it's a fight pit. It has to happen in the pit.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Alex pointed something out too. Yeah, I did have that DC did a slow count on Matt Riddle after Seth hit him with the thump. Like, I noticed that. I did. It's in my notes. So I was like, I was wondering if that would come up into fruition, but no, nothing really happened. Unfortunately, they did get some "We Want Wyatt" chants, because by this point, you know, the White Rabbit had been teased for the past month and a half,
even throughout the show.
Throughout the show, exactly. So, you know, that was like near the beginning ish. I think they eventually got the crowd back on their side, especially with Seth and them Seth fighting at the top or whatever. But it was okay. The biggest thing though was they were at the top. Seth hits a few moves, all of the moves. Then Riddle hits a RKO on Seth. Seth rolls back down into the fight pit.
Yes.
He rolls / throws himself back down in the fight pit. This fight pit, how big do you think that is? Like 10, 15 feet high? About 10?
Sure. Let's call it 50. You know what? This is a good question. And
it's just a steel cage with a platform around it.
Let's say
and
15 feet.
And this one isn't even as like intimidating as the one on NXT. Like in NXT, the platform around the cage was bigger, if I remember correctly. But probably because it was like stationary in that studio and it didn't need to go on the road or whatever.
And that was also I think that was also without the live audience there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
you're
maybe like 10.
Yeah, maybe like 10 feet.
Because look how So Seth falls back into the center. Matt Riddle decides to hit
Matthew
off the fight pit onto Seth Rollins. If they come back and tell us tomorrow that Matt Riddle broke his like pelvis, I'd be like,
back, all of it.
Yeah, all of it. I'd be like, yeah, I think so. I agree. Because when he hit that move, the cry of pain, like it was. I'm like, I don't think Matt's that good of a seller. It sounded like he was in pain.
Yeah, he came down like a bag of potatoes, like a sack of potatoes, and it did not. He fell. Like the way that he jumped, it's hard to explain, but it was just like dead weight falling down, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, luckily the ring like absorbs a little bit of that impact. There's a little tiny bounce to it. I was more worried for, well, I guess both of them, but really for Seth, because he just kind of absorbed it. And I don't know exactly how Riddle landed on Seth, but he did land on him.
Like Riddle kind of landed. If Riddle's tailbone was broken, I think that would be what I would think, because he landed like directly like on his hip / butt. But then he did let his back land onto Seth.
Okay.
Like it was like a half and half, but unfortunately, I think his like hips hit first.
I don't have time for that. No, this
Yeah,
isn't great.
it looked really
Ouch.
painful. And and then the rest of the match was kind of felt all targeted because Riddle gets Rollins into like kind of like the triangle choke, but
Yeah.
Rollins is powering through it, trying to hit him up against the cage, all the walls of the
Uh-huh.
cage, trying to get out of it, doing like bombs, like power bombs to get him off. He's not getting like Riddle is holding on, which is great,
Yeah.
but he looks like he is, and it looks like he's in excruciating pain when he's taking all of these bumps.
And it's funny because this is like almost what the Liv Ronda finish should have been more like. Like
Yes,
the same type of choke, or at least
that's what
pretty close
close.
choke.
Yeah,
It's a little sloppier in the Liv and Ronda match, but yeah, that was like we like him fighting, and I like that this was Riddle's his go-to in this spot. Like, let me make him
yeah.
tap out because that's what I have left in me after breaking my tailbone.
Yeah, and he held that choke in there, and he was bright red. Like Riddle was bright red. I don't know if I've ever seen him get that. Like,
Red.
yeah, he was, and Seth taps. DC comes in there, breaks it up. Good match overall. Like really good match overall. I would like to see Matt Riddle's injury status because I don't know. It looked like that hurt. It truly did to me. So
Yeah. So interesting stuff, and they could do. I just kind of wish that maybe the finish was a little bit different. Like they could have done something more that actually involved the fight pit, other than of course Riddle breaking his tailbone.
yeah,
I think
I
they need
need
to
to see
figure
that.
out. Like it'll be nice to get to the point where there are spots that it's not just like stuff happens on the top platform and then they have to come down to lose. Like
Mhm.
maybe I'm not asking for like an RKO off the
No,
platform because I'm not
Jesus.
insane, but
Right.
they need to figure out something like that that's more
Something
like,
cooler, yeah.
yeah, because that could happen in kayfabe. Like, oh, why not just throw this person off, or why not just do the move off?
Yeah,
And
I mean, maybe you just need more people, like, to
like,
catch, and you need
yeah,
people, like, standing up because it's kinda like war games, people have done, like, moonsaults off the war games thing, so many times, but it's normally, like,
true.
10 people there to, like, standing up and catching them, so I don't know, but
hmm
yeah.
So this to me though, this match, I was just like, wait, this is ending the show? Like, what
Mhm.
happened? I thought, like, oh wait, Roman's not here. Oh, where's
Yeah.
Brock's not here? Oh wait,
Mhm.
Logan Paul's not here. Name whoever else not being Charlotte isn't here. Who's gonna end the
Okay.
show? And then things did the thing.
Yep. So, real quick, Imma give them a C because it's
Oh,
like, it's okay.
we have to rate them.
Yeah.
Um, C minus.
Okay, great. And then so we're getting Michael Cole like, all right, see you everybody. We get the sticker at the bottom. I was like, okay,
Michael
okay,
Cole.
WWE. This
Michael
is
Cole. Come on,
this
bro.
is
Like you don't.
vintage Triple H,
I,
NXT Triple H. Like,
I was like, we literally can't just like Cole. You're not even gonna ask where the White Rabbit is. Like you know that everyone's been talking about this, sir.
yeah, this is
What are you
like
doing?
this was peak black and gold. Like, oh, we're gonna make you think that everything's done and we're going off air, and then something happens after the sticker. Um, and all of a sudden, we just hear he's got the whole world. It goes dark. Get the lights. Yep. Are we still live? Are we still on air? It was like Michael Cole, and it's just over and over. He's got the whole world in his hands, and it's not singing because I can't say it without singing. It's just Bray saying it over and over again, and we get
Creepy.
flashes in the audience. We get full blown, like in almost like costumes. Yeah, we got
The
Buzzard, Mercy the
dinosaur?
Buzzard. No, that's Mercy the Buzzard. Stop
I
it.
don't know what it is. And then there's
It's
like a freaking pig.
Huskers the pig. What are we doing here, Matt? Come on now.
What's this one?
Rambling Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit.
And then finally Abby the Witch, aka Alexa Bliss. No. Yeah, so we get all the Funhouse friends. We get
Yes.
like the burnt fiend mask on the announce desk. That's what
Mhm.
that was.
Mhm.
And then we get the
So
Fiend,
great.
right? And we're like, okay, that's weird. And then you go back, there's like this weird shed, and then there's
There's
the
it's a door, like a
Jumbotron.
doorway situation,
Yeah.
and this is
And
all very creepy. And I know it's Halloween month, but like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
yeah, that was burnt. Oh god, that was like the worst Fiend mask. The burnt
Oh
Fiend
my
mask.
god, no! This door looked so freaking amazing, Mari.
It
Like
did.
the door with the little moss and the vines
Mhm.
around it, and the light peeking out of it, and the smoke coming out of it. How much money did they put into this?
A lot, and it looked great, honestly. And then we get the fun house. On the Titantron, we're showing the fun house, which is all like just decrepit and webs. And Chappelle says, as someone who has not experienced Bray Wyatt, when I started watching WWE, I was thoroughly creeped out. And that's great. That's perfect, because I thought this was very creepy. The funhouse had been shuttered, it's kind of been shuttered, and his funhouse music was played in backwards and reverse. I hate that. Um, and then we get the glowing shed. The door opens, and Bray is it's a new mask, very new mask, yeah. um Very interesting.
It
I'm
was
assuming this is Tom again. Tom
Tom.
Servino. Tom
Oh,
Servino.
oh yeah. I was like, that's not
I would
Tom, Mari.
assume.
That's Bray Wyatt.
No. Yep. Bray then takes off the mask. It is him. He confirms. He says he's here.
It's
Blows out
me.
his lantern. So I'm like, is this like a cross of like all of the Brays? Are we getting all of Bray? But then we get like
Oh,
the Funhouse. Are the Funhouse characters now? Are they like legit, like anthropomorphic? Are they gonna follow him around? Are there like actual performers in there, or was this like a one-time thing? So many questions. Like, cannot wait. I'm hoping on Monday we'll get a little bit more answers. He's back, man. Bray's back. It was Bray.
we love that. And he came
Yeah.
back. And honestly, it's great that it was Bray, because it would have been insane if it was anyone but him. But also, I like that he didn't say anything. This actually
Mhm.
reminds me of a few weeks back over in AEW. We saw Saraya show up
Mhm.
and make her return. Not nearly as grand as this, of course, but we see her show up and we're like, okay, well, you're someone who's known as talking on the mic, so why aren't you on the mic right now? And you had to wait. And I like them keeping us waiting. I also think this could have been interesting if they didn't even have Bray come out at the top of the ramp and they just made it very clear it's him.
Mhm.
But this is thrilling. And I like that idea, Mari, of potentially getting like a three faces of Bray type of thing where it's like the Wyatt family Bray, we get the Funhouse Bray, we get the Fiend Bray.
Mhm.
That could be
It's
really fascinating.
Yeah, we don't know. We still don't know. Like, it does feel like we went through his whole career, but we don't know. And this new mask, like, what is this gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna wrestle with this new mask? Is this just like, it's
Does he
very
keep it?
interesting. Does
Does
he
he
keep
keep
it?
it?
Right.
And I
So
mean, I mean, look, if not, that's
pretty
fine. I
cool.
guess my
Hmm.
question is still like what is the white rabbit? Like why were you the white rabbit? Because that's
Hmm.
not a rabbit mask. Like the mask was not
Hmm.
giving rabbit. We have
Hmm.
rambling rabbit who we saw. So I wonder what the
White
white
Rabbit,
rabbit thing
yeah.
is.
Just maybe for the song and like feed your head. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Well, also White Rabbit, like, isn't that kind of like, I think we might be getting back to Cult Leader, because you follow the White Rabbit, for enlightenment.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we're going back. So we'll see.
Mari, I feel like we can't keep talking about this, or at some point,
No,
like
we gotta
all
go.
our lights will
Football is on.
our lights are gonna turn off. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be creepy and witchy. But good to have Bray back, and thank you, Bray, for not cursing this podcast and coming for
Yes.
us.
Thank you for everybody who turned and tuned in live. This will be available on our podcast
You know,
bread, all of the
thing, the
things.
feed.
It's on YouTube. Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Feed. You can go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed in order to subscribe. Again, you can watch this amazing video on the YouTube page of Rob Has a Podcast YouTube, searching Wrestling RHAPup. Matt, what are you up to?
Keep it simple. Keeping it simple. Matt
Mhm.
Scott GW on social media. I'm enjoying Survivor and this current Survivor season. Was at a watch party this week, which was very cool. Met Marianne, who won season
Yeah.
42. Very fun times. And that's what I'm up to. Having a relatively chill podcasting month while also having a crazy month at work. That's what I'm up to. But Matt Scott GW for the things and to stay up to date on the podcast and all. And you know what, Mari? Where could the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. Every week here with Matt doing the Wrestling RHAPup. Every Tuesday, bringing True Crime Tuesdays to RHAP on the Crime Scene podcast. Me and Sarah Carradine review true crime properties and give you our unfiltered reviews. You can go to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed in order to subscribe to that. Of course, I'm doing Atlanta with the wonderful LaTanya Starks and Chappelle, who came in and joined us here today. You can go to postshowrecaps.com/Atlanta to listen to us. We just reviewed the latest episode, and that was so fun to talk about. So definitely go check that one out. I will be on the book club podcast with Taryn and DM Philly talking about House of the Dragon, which comes on tonight. Can't wait to be finally taking my rightful place on the council next to Taryn and Philly for the remainder of the season. So
it's about damn time.
I know. I got my master chain. We're in here. Yeah. You'll understand if you watch Game of Thrones.
Just see, that's the problem.
Yeah, I know. So you can go to postshowrecaps.com to see all of the amazing House of the Dragon content over there. Please go and rate, review, and subscribe to the Wrestling RHAPup feed. We really, really would appreciate if you do. Other than that, remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. For me and Matt Scott, have a great day. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.